If you are just getting started with homesteading, I recommend picking one thing and learning to make the absolute most out of it and building your skills one at a time. Can you guess what these are? Spend 3 minutes with me at the apple orchard and I can tell you all the stuff I have learned to make out of apples. We drove an hour out to go apple picking, which was a fantastic experience. I'd never done it before. I will definitely be doing it again. Apples are incredibly beginner friendly. They're accessible, they're sold all over, they're normally very inexpensive. They have a good shelf life. You can tell if it's good just by looking at it. All the things you want for a piece of produce if you're not used to working with all different mediums. These were actually red delicious apples, which I am not used to seeing that variety look this way. I was surprised to learn that. I actually grabbed a couple of leaves while we were picking the apples. You'll see what I do with that a little bit later. So many things are made out of apples that we don't think about, even maybe when it's obvious. Do you know that sourdough starter can be made from apple peels? I limited myself on the amount I gave to myself. I could have picked dozens and dozens, and I just got a handful. The first thing I did was dry the leaves until they were brittle. I'm going to pound them into a really fine powder. Apple trees have leaves that make amazing tea. This is a typical red delicious apple, which I grabbed just to compare. I found this contraption at an estate sale for $1, and I was like, this is going to make peeling apples so easy. What is this thing? It didn't work for me how I was using it. Back to basics, I guess. That's always better. I'm cutting off the peels and leaving quite a bit of fruit. And I'm having a center part that's peeled, and then I'm removing the cores. The center part I'm going to use to make apple sauce. I'm just going to simmer it with a little bit of sugar and cinnamon. I'm cutting the scraps off the core. I am going to end up composting that. Some of the trimmings I will dehydrate until they are brittle as well, and then I will crush them into a fine powder to add to the leaves to make a really flavorful and health benefiting tea. Now I've got pieces to add to my jars. I'm going to make apple cider vinegar. I'm going to make a sourdough starter. I'm going to make apple wine. You can do this fancy. I use a coffee filter and the lid that came with the jar. When I strain off these apples, I'm going to just roughly mash them to make applesauce. But with the liquid I've strained off, I'll boil with an equal part sugar to create what I call apple pie syrup, which is really great in this tea that I just brewed. So many things can be done with apples. What am I missing? Let me know.